Hey, everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at Dress to Impress.
Oh yeah, Dress to Impress on Roblox.
Exactly. That game where you style your avatar, you walk down the runway, people vote, and there's some controversy there, so we'll talk about all that.
There's definitely some wild stuff going on.
Yeah, first of all, I was struck by how many people love this game.
It's like massive, right?
It's huge.
Millions and millions of players.
It's not just for kids. Like, adults are getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, it really seems to tap into this, like, kind of nostalgia thing, too.
I know. Madison Beer,
Yeah.
she was saying she felt like she was playing with Barbies again, and it was like her therapy.
Right. And I mean, that's kind of a big deal, right? Like, this virtual world is offering, like, a kind of therapeutic outlet for people.
Yeah, so what is it about virtual fashion?
Well, I think I mean, you hit on it with the nostalgia thing. I think for a lot of people, it takes them back to a simpler time.
Yeah.
You know, when they could just play and experiment and there weren't all these pressures and anxieties of like real life.
Uh-huh.
You know, and fashion can be a really powerful tool for self-expression. But in the real world, it can also be really expensive and intimidating and exclusive.
Yeah.
You know, but in Dress to Impress, you can try on any style you want.
Right.
You know, you can experiment with colors and trends without having to worry about breaking the bank or what other people think.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a safe space to explore your identity and kind of figure out, you know, what you liked.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know, and I think it's really interesting that we're seeing this trend of people taking their virtual fashion into the real world, too.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. We see, like, it's not just contained in the game.
Yeah.
People are recreating their Dress to Impress outfits, like posting it on TikTok and then
Absolutely.
trying to make it...
Yeah, it's like a whole new level of cosplay almost. Like, it's not just about dressing up as your favorite character, but dressing up as, like, your virtual self.
just blurring the lines between, like, the game
Yeah.
and real life. Yeah,
And I think it's also changing the way we think about fashion trends.
totally.
Like, you know, in the past, trends were usually dictated by like fashion houses and magazines and celebrities. But now you're seeing trends emerge from these virtual worlds, like Dress to Impress.
I was thinking about that. It's like, how does a game,
Yeah,
dictate what people wear in the real world? It's fascinating.
I know. It's like fashion is becoming more democratic in a way.
Mm.
Because, you know, anyone can create a trend that goes viral. You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to be a famous designer or anything.
It's interesting, yeah.
You know, and I think that's really exciting.
So Dress to Impress is fun. Millions of people love it. It's influencing what we wear. But we also have to talk about this.
Yeah.
The creator, Gigi.
It's a bit of a darker side to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been allegations about her behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And this obviously brings up some concerns about player safety, and especially when we're talking about...
Especially with such a young audience.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Dress to Impress is hugely popular with kids and teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important that platforms like Roblox are taking steps to ensure the safety of their users.
Yeah.
You know, they need to have robust content moderation policies in place, and they need to be really proactive about addressing any kind of inappropriate behavior.
Right, and to make sure that everyone feels safe and respected within the game. And we also have to talk about copyright.
Oh, yeah, the copyright stuff.
You know, Dress to Impress has run into some issues with that, too, like some items being removed from the game. I even heard that at one point the whole game got deleted for a little bit.
It did. It did. It was a whole thing. I mean, it's a tricky situation, right? Because on Roblox, you have all these users creating their own clothing and accessory designs for avatars. But sometimes those designs can get a little too close to real-world brands.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the copyright issues come in.
Like,
Remember those Gucci handbags
yeah.
that were, like, super realistic?
Back taken down, yeah.
Yeah. We were, like, spot on.
So, and, Roblox has to protect themselves, too.
Of course.
You know?
They have to enforce copyright law, otherwise they could get in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So it's this constant battle between, you know, allowing creativity and expression,
Yeah.
but also making sure that, you know, intellectual property rights are being respected.
It's so interesting to see how these virtual worlds are kind of colliding
I know.
with the real world.
They're not so separate anymore, are they?
Not at all.
It's all kind of blending together.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts about Dress to Impress?
You know, it's more than just a game. It's like, I mean, you said it at the beginning. It's this whole phenomenon that's kind of changing the way we think about fashion and self-expression and online safety and copyright. It's like all these issues are kind of converging in this one virtual space.
And we're just starting to see what the implications might be.
Exactly. And, it makes you wonder, like, what's the future of fashion going to look like?
Yeah.
Will we all be wearing virtual outfits one day?
It's a question I have.
Will virtual fashion eventually become even bigger than traditional fashion? I think it's entirely possible.
Yeah, well, that's a question for all of you to think about, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya.
Bye.